pagado y el contenido total es responsabilidad de quien lo produce o anuncia.
Bienvenidos a Red Lip Latina Radio, the bold, unapologetic voice of San Antonio and beyond. We're turning up the heat on local, state, and national issues while breaking it down with real talk and real passion. From the streets of San Antonio to the halls of power at the White House, we're keeping you informed, engaged, and fired up. And because patriotism is more than just words, we're shining a spotlight on real change makers, the fearless, the hardworking patriots making a difference in our communities. This is Red Lip Latina Radio, where we speak loud, proud, and with a little extra spice.
Every woman deserves luxury. Every woman deserves to feel chosen. Because there is a perfect shade of red for every woman. For every skin tone, every mood, every moment she decides to take up space. Red Lip Latina Beauty is a collection created to celebrate you. Smooth, liquid lipsticks wrapped in diamonds, designed to remind you that confidence is always in style. And for the woman who loves a little extra sparkle, a mascara dressed in diamonds, deep, black, bold, unforgettable, because your presence should never go unnoticed. This isn't just beauty, it's empowerment, it's elegance, it's knowing your worth. So if you love diamonds as much as we do, this is definitely your product. Red Lip Latina Beauty, for an elegant look, because every woman deserves her perfect red and shine.
San Antonio, you're listening to Red Lip Latina Radio on La Nuestra. I am Jessica Garza, your co-host, and tonight I have the honor of opening our conversation. Cindy, unfortunately, she's taking a break for today, but we have our regular host, who I'm so glad to have with us, Genevieve Sims.
Thank you. I'm excited to be back with you. What an honor.
Yes. Genevieve's going to be helping lead tonight's conversation. We are also joined with a very special guest, Lisa Michelle of Untethered Ministries.
Yes. Hi, guys.
Tonight's topic is serious. It's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to pray over this conversation and over every person listening. Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight asking for covering over this conversation. We ask for wisdom, clarity, and discernment as we address the reality of human trafficking and exploitation. For those listening who may be silently suffering, for families who may not even realize the danger around them, and the survivors who are working towards healing, we ask they feel seen and protected and guided by your light tonight. We pray for the work being done to restore lives, to heal people from trauma, and to bring light into dark places. Give courage to those speaking out. Give awareness to parents. Give protection to children. And bring justice where there has been harm. Let this conversation reach exactly who it's meant to reach. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Amen. Thank you, Jessica. That was such a powerful prayer.
Yes.
And,
Thank you.
you know, tonight is going to be absolutely incredible. If you're listening, make sure to follow on the Red Lip Latina Facebook page as well, because there's an opportunity where you can put your questions in too during this conversation. Hopefully I do justice and make you proud tonight. Now, if you are listening through the Red Lip Latina Facebook page again, feel free to drop some comments and questions for our guest this evening. This is an opportunity for you to get to know her and get to know the incredible impact and work that they are doing here in our city. So, tonight, we are pulling back the curtain on reality that is too often hidden, but far too close to home. We like to think of human trafficking as something that happens somewhere else or to someone else. But the truth is, it's running rampant right here in our city in places that we least expect. You know, as a parent, as a neighbor, as a citizen, that should do more than just scare us. It should move us to action. But where there is darkness, there are warriors. And tonight, Jessica and I have the distinct honor of sitting down with a woman who isn't just a survivor, she's a disruptor. And that's why she's got that red lip Latina spice to her tonight.
Yes.
She is nationally recognized as an expert, a somatic practitioner, an author, and a fierce voice on the Human Trafficking Survivor Leaders Council of Texas. And she's here to teach us how to protect our children, how to restore those who've been exploited. So San Antonio, please give it up to the founder of Untethered Ministries and the author of Unlikely Warrior, the incredible Lisa Michelle.
Aw, thank you, you guys. Thank you so much. This is an honor to be here. Thank you, Jessica, and for Genevieve for having me.
Yes. And you know, before we go into all the subjects that we have ready for you, let's talk about what happened last night.
Yeah, that was fun, right?
Yes.
Yes, we had our February networking mixer where Untethered Ministries with the Spotlight nonprofit. What did you think about it? You were on the other side this time.
I thought it was amazing. So honored to partner with BPSA. And I got to talk to a lot of people that were there that hadn't heard about the work that we're doing. And they were their eyes were open. They were intrigued. They wanted to know more. They wanted to know how they can get involved. So it was incredible.
Good. And that is what we want to do at BPSA is we want to create that awareness, not just the funds that are being raised there that go directly to the nonprofit, but to let our city know about the nonprofits that a lot of people don't talk about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I felt like there was a lot of support there last night.
There was.
And you can feel like the room, it was full of a lot of support towards what you do.
Yes.
So I thought that was beautiful just to see how packed it was.
That was great.
Yeah, that was
Pretty
amazing.
good
It was a great
turnout.
turnout.
And that place was huge. If you've never been to Novu, Brazilian brewery,
Yes.
make sure to check them out.
The nachos.
Yes, the Pokey Nachos. Check out the Pokey Nachos. But yes, they are located inside of North Star Mall, right next to Express. And they actually, it used to be the old Gap. So there's plenty of space there. We were so excited to have been partnered up with 94.1 to have them actually do a live broadcast during our event. That was absolutely spectacular.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice.
Very well done.
Yes. What did your
Yes.
team think about it?
Oh, they loved it. They
Yeah.
absolutely loved the whole entire thing. They were like, now this is our kind of event.
Yes.
Yeah, it was so much fun. The
Yeah.
pictures, everything that you guys add to that, like whenever you guys do these nonprofits, like to help the nonprofit, it adds a lot. Like you've had the charcuterie bar, the photos; those are always like epic.
Absolutely.
I love that.
And that's just the core of BPSA is to be able to feature a local nonprofit and a local business, and not just a local business, but several
Yes.
different local businesses to give them that platform to partner up with that.
And it brings like people together.
Absolutely.
I love that.
So if you ever want to find out more about the BPSA events, which happen on the second Wednesday of every month, check out bpsaevents.com. So now we're going to switch gears over to talk a little bit more about what you do before we go into talking about awareness and protection. Tell everybody a little bit about your background.
Sure. So for me, I had no idea I'd be in the place I am today or be the woman that I am today as well, because I came from a background of abuse, of sexual abuse. My dad was a Hell's Angel in Oakland, California. And I was basically groomed at a really young age for sexual exploitation and trafficking, and then brought into it by a perpetrator who was a local businessman. And at the age of 7, I was exposed to probably the darkest, by far today, the darkest story I've ever heard. If I told all of you, you would need some trauma counseling for sure. It was really dark and demonic, and I don't even touch on it in my book either, because it's just that dark. But I went through all of that. Then I turned to drugs and alcohol, and then I turned into the rock and roll scene and just running from my past, not knowing that I was running from my past because I didn't know how to identify what had happened to me. And so this is very common if you've been a victim of childhood sexual abuse or any kind of domestic violence or anything like that. You stay in the cycle of abuse, not knowing what really happened to you. So it was when I heard somebody telling their story for the first time of being abused that when her words were coming out, I was like, wait, what? Somebody's actually speaking these words out loud, and that's what happened to me? Because there was no education, there was no conversations in my generation, like we're gonna have today, that are uncomfortable and that are hard things to talk about. But if I had had that, maybe I knew what had happened to me. So that was the awakening for me, and that was the time where I started to heal. My healing journey began then. And then I had given my life to the Lord at 26 years old, and the Lord really healed me from multiple personalities, from demonic presences that had come over me, because sexual encounters, that is exactly what demons want, is they want to infiltrate in that way. And so you can get a lot of demonic activity from all of that as well transferred to you. So I went through serious healing in the spiritual realm, and that is the foundation for me that I stand on today, because that is key. And we are, what the ministry that I run here in San Antonio is faith-based, and that's one of the reasons that I believe so strongly in that. But God healed me of addiction, of so many things, and brought me to be the woman I am today. And now here I'm leading a nonprofit, I'm an author, like you said, so many different things that I didn't think I'd be capable of. And the reason that I do this work today is because I want others to find their freedom too, and to be able to learn that, hey, you're more than what happened to you. This is not your journey, and there's way more out there for you.
How many years were you a victim of that?
So unfortunately, it started when I was 1 year old, and that's from a family member that shared an incident with me while I was in the crib. And that started with my father, and he's the one who groomed me. And I believe he was a part of a pedophile ring. We moved across the street from this business owner. The exploitation and the trafficking started with him at 7 years old. I was exposed to pornography and really dark things. It was inside of a funeral home. And it was the director of the funeral home. Everybody in the community loved him and trusted him. So nobody had any idea that he had this dark secret. He distributed and made pornography, child pornography, and distributed out to the community, to a big group of pedophiles. So I was a victim of all of that, including the neighborhood kids as well. Yeah, so from 7 to age 12.
So at age 12, was that when you saw... When was it that you saw the speaker that gave you that, like, oh my God, like, I am a victim of this is what's happening? When the one that took you out of the normalization?
Yeah, 28 years old.
So then 12, and then you started doing drugs at 12?
At 12 years old, yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah. I was already being given it, so the funeral home director was giving me drugs in lemonade and cookies to knock me out. And then my dad as well gave me drugs as well. Wow. So, yeah. Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
That's horrible. I still, though, like you mentioned that when you saw somebody going through the same thing and they're, saying it, vocalizing the way you are doing here today.
Yeah.
Like, that's beautiful in a sense, because if it wasn't for that person, like, you wouldn't be sitting in the seat right now.
Yeah. It is incredible that God has risen me up to be the warrior that I am today, because I was absolutely petrified. I mean, petrified to even utter the words or to tell the first person that I told, because there's so much shame involved. It's toxic shame that it leaves you just voiceless and leaves you so full of shame that you don't want anybody to know what happened to you. So the fact that I can stand on stages today, work at the Capitol, do legislation, do all the things I do, it's like mind-blowing that God gave me this like inner lioness in me that wants to be a fierce warrior for others so they can find their voice and find their freedom. Yeah.
And it's
an
so
amazing
powerful to even, and this is why I call you the most courageous woman that I know, because to be able to have to not just voice it, but also repeatedly, this is where you're finding strength too, and someone is being inspired by that. And there's also, you know, part of the book that I wrote, there's a chapter, it says, the wound that woke the assignment.
Yes.
And it's sometimes in our deepest pain that God shows us,
Yes.
you know, what's going to happen once you overcome it, because there's freedom in there.
Yeah.
There's freedom, and it's powerful.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you were talking about this funeral director that pretty much was also at the start of all this is pivotal. You had mentioned before that trafficking often happens in places that we least expect. And this was a family friend, a trusted
Right.
family friend. So what would you say, you know, for us as parents, what are some red flags that we can start noticing? You know, you mentioned the term grooming.
Yeah.
For those people who don't understand what that means in this term.
Yeah.
Could you expand a little bit on that?
Yeah. So, and you know, perpetrators are usually somebody that looks like you and me, that looks like everyday normal people, and they build trust with the family or with the child. And so it could be a coach, it can be a teacher, it can be just a family friend or a businessman. Some of the red flags are that the very first thing they do is get emotional dependence quickly on the victim. Okay, so they will give intense praise or validation. They will say things like, "You're so mature for your age." Daily and consistent, constant messaging. They start to bombard you with text or phone calls and staying connected to you, because connection is what the child is usually craving, and they might not be getting it at home, or that validation that they're getting is giving them that dopamine hit. So they don't know any difference. Their brain is not developed yet, so they just know I like this. I like this attention and praise that I'm getting. And then they quickly move into personal topics as well. So that child feels seen and really special and understood. Yeah. And one of the other tactics that they use is isolation. So I say the single most dangerous place that your child can be today is alone in their bedroom or alone anywhere with one of these, with any device. That is the single most dangerous place that child can be, especially without restrictions or without supervision, parental supervision, or with the apps that we want on our phone to protect children as well. So they want to bring that child in isolation and move them into Snapchat, WhatsApp, or Discord, because that's where you see disappearing messages. So there's nothing that's traceable anymore. And they'll move into that very quickly. Other things that they do is say, this is just between us. Yeah, your parents wouldn't understand any of this. Don't tell them. Don't let them know what we're talking about, right? So one of the important things to remember is that healthy adults don't ask children to keep secrets.
Yeah.
Very important, right?
Yeah. Wow.
I'm like, I have 3 daughters.
Yeah.
So I'm a very paranoid person, but it's because of stuff that's happened to me too. So when it comes to like my kids, like I don't do slumber parties, and I get judged for it a lot.
I did too.
And I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know the father, I don't know the uncle, I don't know, I just won't.
Can I share a story with you?
Yes.
That's so important. So after my book came out, like I said, there were a lot of neighborhood boys and girls that were being trafficked out of this funeral home. And we had a really close friend of the family that hung out with me and my sister. After my book came out, she reached out to me on social media and said, I read your book. I cannot believe everything that I read. And she said, I went to my mother and I cried and I asked her for forgiveness. And I told her, you were the best mom ever. And she said, because remember when I kept asking you if I can go to those slumber parties at the funeral home with Lisa? She said, you would not let me go. She said, something's not right about kids sleeping in a funeral home.
Yes.
You know, and she's like, I'm not letting you go there. And she would beg her mother, and her mother repeatedly said no. And then when she found out what happened to me, in there, and she saw us going to other funeral homes as well. She gave me more pieces to my story. She had a lot more memory. But that mother was doing the right thing. And back then, that was like, you know, it was all free. You could do whatever you wanted back then. So what you're doing is the right thing, as long as you're not instilling fear into the child. And we'll talk a little bit about that. But it's the right thing to do, for sure. Yeah, and that's beautiful that she got to see that later on in life, right? Yeah, that she did the right thing.
Yeah, because they're young, and a lot of times they, you know, they think that we're keeping them from freedom. And I mean, I have conversations with them. I'm like, no, it's because things like this happen.
Right.
I talk to my 12-year-old about those things. Things like this happen. Things like that happen. This is what's happened to me.
Yeah.
This is what's happened to other people. So
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And my daughter is just dying for social media, and we have not allowed her to do so.
Yeah.
I agree with you. It's hard because they can make a stranger a friend, somebody who can make them feel comfortable through pictures.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a campaign out there called Wait Until the 8th to give your child, you know, a device. So 8th grade. I still think that's too young. I think we need stronger laws about that, and we need to take these cell phones away from our kiddos. It really is. It's very damaging in multiple ways.
Yeah, it's very, very important that, you know, there's boundaries that are made with that. And unfortunately, you know, sometimes I'm guilty of that too, is where we're busy and we're like, go ahead, go on your device. And your 1 hour turns to 2 hours. And the next thing you know, but it's very mindful. It's good to be mindful of these techniques so that we can know what to look for as well.
The other thing is, even if they don't have a device, their friends are going to have devices, and they're going to find other ways to get on into, you know, platforms that are unsafe for them. So it's not just about not having a cell phone. It's really educating and teaching the child as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that leads to this question that when you're talking about the parents, like how can a parent talk to their child about exploitation?
Yes. So
Without inducing or paralyzing fear.
Okay. So that is such an important one. So let's see here.
Yeah, because I need to know that, because I like I told you, I have conversations, but I don't know if I'm scaring them of the whole world.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
It's a fine line.
Yes, and that is the goal, is to not be afraid, but more of be aware and to be confident and be prepared, especially for the parent, because fear shuts that child down.
Right.
And confidence keeps communication open. So children process fear differently than adults. And so fear-based approach might sound like, and you probably recognize some of these because I've done them myself, there are predators everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Use
People
that
are going to
one.
try and kidnap you. You're at Target or something. You're like, watch out. Is there anybody following us? You know?
Yes.
Right? Okay.
All the time.
Never trust anyone online. So instead of saying things like that, we can say most people are safe, but some people make unsafe choices.
Oh, that's a good one.
Your body and your feelings are a really good warning system. And I think that's so important. Like I think about when I think I was 11 or 12, I was out on a bike ride with a friend, and this red truck was following us, and he pulled up next to me, and we were out in the middle of nowhere riding our bikes. And he had his window down. He was asking me for directions. And back then it was like one of those maps because we didn't have Google. So he had this big old map laid out, and he was, you know, pointing to it and asking me where to go. And I started to lean into the car, into the truck, and talking to him. And next thing you know, he pulls the map back and he exposes himself. He had nothing on. And I was so young and I was so scared. I didn't know what was happening. And I just remember my entire body tensing up, and I went into freeze mode. And I'm just like, I mean, he could have easily snatched me and pulled me into that car. Thank God he didn't. My girlfriend was riding her bike up ahead of me. And just my body as a child like knew something was wrong, really wrong. And so it's just really scary. So teach children to pay attention to what they're feeling and what's going on in their body. Another thing you can tell your child is you can always tell me anything. You won't get in trouble. Because it informs without overwhelming. And I think it's easy for us as parents to overwhelm our children because it's an overwhelming topic. And it is, you know, especially if we have our own lived experience like you were talking about, then if our perspective and our lens is through that, and we still have wounds in us, we can transfer that off into our children as well. Exactly. So it is a learning curve, and you can have a script put together to talk to the children as well, and have that ahead of time and be prepared. So you could say something like, if someone asks you to keep secrets, or sends you gifts or makes you uncomfortable, here's things you can do. And you can teach them what unsafe people look like, what are the toxic traits of people like that. And, you know, I know it feels nice to have somebody be so flattering and all of that to you, but normal adults don't do that, you know? So you want to teach them things like that. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. I'm like, where can we find this list?
Yes. Okay, we'll make one.
We're gonna make a list.
Yes. I'm like, I need to write notes.
Because my daughter, you know, she's a tween, so right now emotions are always running high. And there's always, you know, someone, we're not best friends today, we're best friends tomorrow. And she would tell me things that happen, you know, there's so much drama on the playground, right? Especially by the swings. So she always shares all these things to me, and it's just so reassuring to hear it from your perspective as well, so we know the direction that we can take that was actually going to be proactive in it.
Yeah. I think another thing we could say is most people that you meet online or in real life are safe. But if anyone ever makes you feel uncomfortable, asks you to keep secrets, or crosses your boundary, you can always tell me. You won't be in trouble. My job is to help you and to figure this out, not judge you. And really just prepare those scripts ahead of time so you can help the child know how to build on emotional safety and boundaries, and what a predator looks like, instead of having a normal conversation. For me, those were like extremely hard when my kiddos were little. I did not have any scripts, and I did instill fear because, and now my daughter's like, you know, hyper vigilant all the time, and that's not what we want for our kiddos, right?
Yeah.
We want to teach them safety as well.
Wow, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I do have mine pretty scared.
That is so true. Now, what is a common myth about human trafficking in San Antonio that you wish that everybody could unlearn today?
Yeah, 41% of the clients that we serve at Untethered Ministries have been trafficked by a family member. So we have a big presence here in San Antonio with gangs, and it's very prevalent within that community to traffic, you know, an uncle trafficking a niece, or a nephew, or mom trafficking a daughter or son. It's very common. So familial trafficking, which is what happened to me as well, is a really big deal in San Antonio. You don't want to think about moms trafficking, you know, a child in the family, or dad is, or an uncle or an aunt, but it's very prevalent in our city, and I don't think that people really can conceptualize that.
Yeah.
And when we have clients coming in our door, 41% are having that exact experience, and it's children. Yeah.
Wow. And I think the other day you had mentioned also the new, not trend, but the new thing that you're seeing a lot in the news was also grandparents.
Yes.
That to me was shocking.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
Yep, happens all the time, more times than I can count.
Wow, that is absolutely crazy. I mean, there's, you always, well, for me, that would be the group of people that I would least suspect.
Yes, because you trust the grandparents a lot. You know, so they're your parent.
Right.
So it's kind of like, yeah.
It's
I
hard
mean,
to
it's
wrap your
shocking.
mind
It's-
around that.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
shocking
Yeah.
to think about.
And the language behind that and the grooming is, hey, we're doing this for the family. You know, we're doing this for the family, just like in, you know, mafia and all of that. You know, hey, we need to bring some food on the table. We need to, you know, all that. We don't have anything to eat, so I need you to help us out. Yeah, we hear every story out there for all of that.
Well, let's talk about the path of restoration from this. As a somatic practitioner, you focus on the body's role in healing. So why is it so important for survivors to move beyond just the talking phase about their trauma and actually reclaim their physical.
Yeah.
Peace.
Well, it's because trauma gets stored in our bodies. And I actually didn't realize that for a really long time. When I started to realize that, wow, I have inflammation, I have blood pressure problems, all these physical things happening to me, it's because the trauma was stored and it never got released out of my body. So, when someone survives exploitation or chronic abuse, their nervous system adapts for survival. Their body learns to live in these states of hypervigilance, shutdown, tension, and disassociation. These responses are not psychological weaknesses, which is what law enforcement, other agencies and all that, they're going to have that mindset, although we've really shifted the needle in this a lot. But they're really having a biological survival strategy. And you can live your entire life never being connected to your body. So when trauma happens, your brain and your body literally disconnect. And so what we do at Untethered is we're bringing the brain and the body back online, just like a computer, and getting the body back into homeostasis, helping the body to feel again and to experience what has happened to them without words. And it's probably one of the most profound things I've ever had happen to me. And I get to experience that on the daily at our facility and get to watch other women have that experience for the first time, that they're like, because you literally live completely shifted away from your body. So they feel like, for the first time, I feel safe now.
Yes.
Yeah, and it wasn't my fault. And yet their body may still respond as if there's danger in the room or in their life. And so we're retraining the body. They may be experiencing, by the way, anxiety without a clear cause, chronic tension, sleep disturbances, startle responses, you're constantly jumpy like that. That was me my entire life. Emotional overwhelm. Like that was another really big one for me as well. And a persistent sense of unsafety because the nervous system hasn't fully recalibrated. And I say this all the time, that movement is medicine. When we move the body and we actually focus on what's going on in the body, we can move that through and let it pass through so you don't have to carry it anymore. Yeah.
How would you describe movement though? Like exercising, or what do you mean by movement?
So we have breath work that we do. We have over 1,000, actually 2,000 modalities that I have personally that I have learned and that I train in as a practitioner. So we have one of our modalities that is movement through vibrations and through sound therapy. So it's rewiring the brain and reconnecting the body and the brain again.
And frequencies?
There are some frequencies that are involved in that as well. So breath work, like I said, all kinds of different incredible modalities, but it's very healing if you've been through any kind of trauma. So on Tuesdays, we actually have paying clients that come in, that the money goes towards the nonprofit with my expertise, that are going through divorce or trauma of any form, and we'll help them move that through their bodies as well. Yeah.
And I've had the privilege to be able to see your facility, and it really is just incredible because there are so many, things there that I didn't even know, especially with this type of holistic healing, which is so powerful because, you hear mostly in culture, it's like just talk about it, go to therapists, but there's so much more. You need both, I think.
Yeah, this is a bottom-up approach. So we're going body first instead of top-down, which is talk therapy and therapy with your therapist. So a lot of times I found that I would go to the therapist and I was just trauma dumping. I'm just vomiting out
not healing.
Exactly. And then I'd walk out and I'd be like, I don't feel any better. Why do I feel the same,
like
right?
You just vented, but all the trauma is still there. The anxiety is still there.
Exactly. And or you're taking medications and all the things. So we get to witness women getting off of medications, not having all the symptoms of lupus anymore. I had Hashimoto's for decades. I no longer have Hashimoto's because of all the techniques that I know. I mean, I have 3 different things that are completely been reversed in my health. And I feel like I'm actually healthier now at my age, and because of everything that I've been able to do and removing that trauma and letting it release from my body. Wow. Isn't that incredible?
That is. And I think a big part of that too is the education part. Where only, we hear one thing and that's all we know. So when we, hear about this type of approach, I think it's really eye-opening.
Yeah, it's extremely innovative. It's the first time any kind of work has been done out there in this category, and it works. You know how I know it works? Is the girls show up every single week for their appointment. They never miss their appointments. They hold it sacred when they come there because they know they literally can walk in completely a train wreck and then walk back out online going, I can embrace this day. Wow. And yeah, they come back all the time. And then they learn new things to do at home too, so they're not dependent on us,
So it's like a journey.
Yes.
It's what they went through, and then after it, they're still healing. So it's a long journey.
You can spend your entire life. I know people right now that I can name that are in their 60s, 80s that have not ever dealt with the trauma that was stored in their body. So they have all kinds of crazy diseases, right? And they're just sitting with all of that and don't even understand it or realize it. Yeah.
Wow. Now, we're going to shift over to your book right here. That is this beautiful, gorgeous book here. It's titled Unlikely Warrior. Now, you did start speaking a little bit about it in the beginning, but at what point in your journey did you really stop seeing yourself as a victim and start recognizing the warrior within?
When did I start to see that? It definitely was baby steps. It was getting out there and being vocal about what happened. I really encourage anybody that's ever been through any of this to start talking about it, start finding a safe person to open up to, a counselor or a somatic practitioner, and start to articulate. I had no words for it at all. The more I would share, the more I would experience this freedom and just this, rising up in me. So, yeah, I mean, that's basically it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, if there's anybody out there that's listening right now who hasn't learned to find their voice yet or how to articulate what they've been through, who feels tethered to their past shame, what do you think is the first step towards becoming untethered?
Yeah, well, for me, it was giving my life to Jesus 100% and letting him heal me from the ground up. That was the foundation and the core of everything, right? I also highly, and I know that's kind of funny, but it's like I recommend this book because it is Pandora's box. I absolutely outline how to articulate, how to understand what happened to you, and then how to move forward with that healing path. And that's why I wrote this book, is because I felt like we needed, a playbook. We needed something to help you understand it, because I had no words for it. I had no idea what the cycle of abuse looked like or anything like that. So that's a great way to get started as well.
Yes,
and start talking about it.
I thought it was really interesting in the beginning of your book where you did a disclaimer. And I was like, why? And then I started diving into it. I was like, wow.
Do you know how many?
Really, it was necessary.
Yes, because I can't tell you how many survivors that I've talked to that put my book down within the first 2 pages. Had multiple survivors that have said, I can't finish your book. I've had people that have taken a year to go through it, and with a counselor. It's not it just depends on the gravity of your abuse and all of that. I've had one thing I love about this book is that it's really spoken to men. And I think that that's a demographic that doesn't get talked about enough. I know my mission is to help women find their voice and everything, but also God's mission was to help me awaken men. And so that was really cool because I didn't know that was inside this book. But we have a lot of men that come up to me after speaking or that have read the book and say, thank you for writing this, because I didn't even really know what happened to me, and I've never told anybody. So 60% of child sexual abuse survivors never tell anybody their entire lives. And so I find it very common with the work that I do that men are the ones that are most silent. Men are the ones that don't talk about any of this intense shame that comes with that. So I love that helps to awaken men and help them be bold too, because we need them to be voices as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think men usually hide that the most because they're so ashamed, like worse than women, I feel.
For sure. Yeah, they absolutely do not want to have anything to do with this conversation.
Right.
I have law enforcement. I'll train law enforcement. I have 500 men in the room, and I have men come up to me after I speak, and they're literally shaking, and grown, big, burly men, and they're just like, thanks a lot. You just wrecked my world. But it's good because that's where the journey of healing begins.
Yes.
And I want that. I want to make people uncomfortable to the point where they do get awakened. So the other side of this is way more like it's so worth it to walk into your freedom. I mean, I get to do things today that are crazy amazing. And I'm thankful that I was able to, go find all that.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit more about the things that you do with the Human Trafficking Survivor Leaders Council of Texas. That's a long title.
Right, yeah.
But I've heard you talk about some incredible things, and I'm in constant awe of what you're able to do. So, yeah, just expand.
A lot of that work I have to keep on the down low.
Yeah.
But I do get to oversee policy. I get to work with the state of Texas with our sex trafficking team and review different things. We've met with the governor's wife, with Cecilia Abbott, and she literally has had meetings with us just to sit and listen to us. No agenda. But she'll let each one of us, there's 11 on the survivor leaders team in the state of Texas, and she will go around and let each one of us take our time, what's on our hearts, where do we want legislation to go, where do we think the gaps are, and all of that. And I love that. She's done that twice with us because she wants to know, okay, you've been there, you have firsthand lived experience in this, and then me being on the front lines and a couple other of the survivors as well, you get to see like what's really happening live in 3D out there in your community as well. So it's so important. And I just love that we have a state that's so passionate about this, and our state and our local task force as well. We've really risen up as a state with the laws that we've been able to change and with the education that we're bringing too.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, what about the other things also with Untethered Ministries too?
Yeah. So we have an outreach and intervention program that goes out to our local SOBs, which are sexually oriented businesses. So that looks like, you like that, do you? Yeah. So that includes strip clubs, modern day brothels, illicit massage businesses, and motels and hotels where we know that there's trafficking happening there. We go there. Actually, we're going this weekend, Valentine's outreach. We'll bring a rose and a beautiful little box with a gift to each girl that is working in that environment, letting them know who we are, what we do, that we have resources if she's ever in need, if she needs things for her kiddos, because a lot of the girls that we meet have children, and it's really hard to work in that environment. We want them to know they have community, that we have support groups, that we have modalities that can help them. And many of our friends that work in this industry, they come to us even if they're still working in it. And we love that too, because we just want them to start their healing path, whatever that is. So we get to go in probably the most darkest places in San Antonio.
In the belly of the beast.
Yeah, for sure, right? And then we get to bring the light. And I'm thankful that we get to do that. And I love it because the DJs will announce us when we come in and be like, oh, the church girls are in the house. They love it because we all have great community together, and they know that we're there to help anybody that wants to be helped and that wants to befriend us. And we all have such incredible trust after almost 14 years of doing this. They know we're the real deal, that we literally care about this community and we care about the women, and we have so many friendships that have come out of all of that, and it's a beautiful thing to do that work.
Yeah, and that says a lot when the club owners welcome you in.
Yes, right. It is. It's huge favor. We're incredibly thankful, and it's definitely a God thing, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, how does your organization, Lily and Company, use survivor-made products to change the narrative around employment and the economical empowerment for those in recovery?
Yeah. So a social enterprise interrupts the harm by shifting the narrative from I was somebody that was sold to I'm someone who creates now. It gives the survivor agency, it gives them dignity, economic power, and helping them shift from victim to survivor as well, and entrepreneur. And we've seen so many women. So that's just like our little landing spot, and it inspires them to make their own jewelry or sell artwork. A lot of the girls we work with are incredibly creative with art. So it helps them to shift into where their talent is, and they can do micro businesses as well. And I love that.
Absolutely.
Helping to inspire them. Yeah.
I saw you post recently, a few days ago. You posted about a victim that you guys were able to save, and you were asking for resources.
Yeah.
And I wanted to highlight that because how can people help, and what kind of resources, or what does it look like?
Yeah. Yeah, so this was a victim that came out of an operation where it was victim-centered, and we were purposely looking for girls that might be out there and engaging in prostitution. And she said yes to our services. She said, yes, I do not want to do this, and this is really hard for me. And she ended up leaving her perpetrator like a week after we had met, and which we don't recommend. We want to put a plan of action together and help provide safety and all of that. But she found herself in a situation where she wasn't finding housing or anything like that. And so we reached out, like you said, to our community and just said, hey guys, we need help. We want you to know the realities of how hard it is to transition out of this. It is daunting. It takes a lot of resources. So supporting Untethered Ministries financially, any kind of businesses that are out there that can help us to hire women that have barriers like felonies and different things like that and work with us, which we've seen so many big businesses that are like, hey, I write up a letter of recommendation. I'll go meet with the managers and let them know, hey, we've known this person for X amount of time. We believe in them. We will, hold them accountable. We'll walk through this process with them. We've seen girls gain employment through this way, but we have to do it hand by hand with survivors, with our partnerships, helping to financially donate and back the nonprofit.
Wow.
And that's on your website?
Yeah.
And then also, you were speaking also before how you were in need of a bus or a shuttle.
Yes. So we had a 15-passenger bus, and it's had its day. So it was on its way to wherever buses go.
Bus heaven.
That bus saw a lot of stuff in the last decade. So we definitely are in need of a new bus, and we do anti-trafficking tours and take businessmen and whoever is interested. We really do love to take men out on these and to show them what's happening in our community. It never fails. Every time we do that, we will have, you heard that last night, our friend Howie said that it was literally 3 doors down from his office. That he didn't know that was happening. And then we drove by another place. I won't give as much information. Come to the trafficking tour if you want to find out behind the scenes and, all the down low on that. But, businesses that are in strip centers that are a storefront for prostitution. And they look like legitimate businesses, but they're not. And so this, our friend also saw one right near his house. He's driving by every day. All of us, guaranteed. That's why we do this tour. We're all passing them by every single day, and they are operating in plain sight. There are girls back behind these businesses in nail salons, illicit massage businesses, hair salons, donut shops. We've seen it all. We have seen it all. So it's happening every day in our community.
Yeah, and I'm just in awe of how much knowledge you have in this too. And just to kind of give you an example, we were at a place one time where you showed me like that's a spot, that's a massage parlor.
I want to learn how.
And I
Yeah.
I thought, but I wasn't sure. And I was telling you, I felt like I was like on 2020 because you did a play by play, like watch. It's gonna be work trucks. There's gonna be a doorbell. There's gonna be a watcher coming by with a backpack. And the minute you said that, somebody walks by. I was like, oh,
It was like a movie scene.
Wow.
I was like,
Incredible.
wow, and this is happening on a daily basis.
Yeah.
On a daily basis.
That anti-trafficking tour is exactly what happens, and it's always eye-opening. The Holy Spirit's always with us and shows us exactly where to go and how to awaken people to really get behind this cause, and how to help the women and the children that we work with to come from being a victim to being a survivor. And it is a long process, but if we had another bus, we could even do more.
Absolutely.
Right?
So if you're listening to this and you have resources, please connect.
Yes.
And so, what is the best way for them to get connected with Untethered Ministries?
Untetheredministries.org for sure.
And then also on your social media too, right?
Yes, yeah, at Untethered Ministries.
So
Now-
do you train people to do that, like to spot?
Yeah,
Yes.
so, and we train businesses as well. We can come train your staff on what are the red flags, what it looks like, and then how to see it in your actual business as well, or anywhere around you. So then you, as a community, we need to awaken more businesses and more people out there, because we want everybody to be the eyes and ears and to help protect more girls from being trafficked, more boys too. There's
Yeah.
lots of boys as well. Yeah.
I want to learn how to do that. Just because I feel like if I were to see that, if I was trained with my eyes like you are in that, I would be one of those people that would want to.
Yeah, you can report it and you can let law enforcement know about it. There's
Yeah.
proper places to do that. And so if you can do that, then you can help. I know we have, law enforcement, our task force, they're all inundated. We have huge caseloads, but we can continually just keep moving that needle, get more funding for law enforcement and all that. That would be amazing.
Absolutely. Now, since we're getting ready to wrap it up, Lisa, if you could go back to your younger self in your darkest moments and say just one thing, knowing everything that you know now, what would it be?
Wow, I haven't even thought about that.
That's a deep question.
Yeah. I think I would tell 7-year-old Lisa that you're going to make it. You're going to get through this, girl. It's the things that I tell everybody else that's heavily involved in all this, It's like, this isn't your story. This is a chapter in your story. This isn't the end. And God has so much more for you. And I know that it looks like, this is everything, right? It's all encompassing. It's so overwhelming. And you don't think, this is why we see children committing suicide. And I had suicidal ideation. I had the spirit of death on me for more than half of my life. I got delivered of that as well. That's one of the things that can take over, when you go through all of this. But yeah, I would like to let that little inner girl in me know that you're going to make it, Lisa. You are. And God's going to do beautiful, amazing things through your life.
Wow, you're so inspiring.
Yes.
That is so beautiful. And if you're listening to this and, just reach out to Untethered Ministries if you have more questions or to take this conversation further.
If you know somebody
Yes,
who
speak
could
up.
possibly going through that, just like Lisa was saying, just reach out, because you could be the next person that helps that other person. So there's no shame. Also, like, if you've been through it, don't feel ashamed. There's this book right here, so.
Yes. And Lisa's a living example.
Yeah.
A living example that if she can do it, you can do too.
That's right.
So we're so grateful. Lisa, thank you. Thank you for your courage, for your
Yes.
expertise,
Thank you so much.
and for reminding us tonight that while the darkness is real, the light of restoration is stronger. You've given us more than just an interview tonight. You've given us a roadmap to protect our families and our friends, and a reason to believe in the power of untethered lives. So to everyone that's listening, please don't let this conversation end when you turn off your radio or close your browser. Awareness is the first step, but action is what saves lives. So make sure to follow Untethered Ministries. Check out the Survivor-made products of Lily and Company, and pick up Unlikely Warrior. It's available on Amazon as well as your website.
Yeah, lisamichelle.org.
Yes, so let's be a community that refuses to look away.
Yes.
Let's be the city that stands up for those who cannot yet stand for themselves. And we'll be back next time. But until then, stay vigilant, stay informed, and most importantly, stay connected to one another.
Yes.
Yes.
So to switch it off a little bit, I am going to talk about our lipsticks.
Yeah.
Because Lisa just got one.
Yes, I'm excited about it.
So we have the new lipstick. We have two new lipsticks. One of them is Pentecostal Pink, which I'm wearing. That's why I'm not wearing my red today.
Beautiful.
I was actually shocked. Yeah, like I
It
didn't.
is beautiful.
I-
I'm excited.
It looks like your pink that you're wearing.
I know.
Yes,
Yes,
it
it's
looks
my
like this
color for
bag.
sure.
Look, I even got my nails like it today because I was like, I
Yeah.
really like
There you
this.
go.
So I'm just gonna show you guys what it looks like. It's a metallic pink. It's called Pentecostal Pink, and I'm just gonna swatch it. I mean, you can see it on my lips, but it is just like a tone that is more. It's not red. So if you know reds aren't your color, we have a pink and it's metallic. Let me share the other one. Hold on. I didn't take that one out. That one's the one that Cindy was wearing last night. Okay, let's see. Hold on. Where are we? Oh my goodness. I should have had it ready.
It's always fun to play with all these different
Yes.
lipstick colors.
I know. Okay, here we go. So this one's called Glory to God.
Oh, so pretty
I know,
too.
it's such a pretty name. I love it.
That looks like your boot.
Yes, it matches my boots.
I
Oh
know.
my
I can't show
goodness.
it on camera, but she's wearing boots. That's almost that same color.
Yes,
Let me swatch this one because I'm not wearing that one.
that
but
is
it's
gorgeous.
yeah, it's pretty bright,
Beautiful.
but I mean, it's, I feel like it's for every skin tone. Like your
Yeah,
skin tone, your skin
it's a bold color for sure.
I think it's perfect for rodeo.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
And tonight's the
that's a
first
good
night
one.
of rodeo season.
Yes.
And I'm gonna try something tomorrow. I'm gonna probably post it. I wanted to try it like a lip liner, and then put the
With
Pentecostal
the one-
in there.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, 'cause
I see
That
that.
would be great.
Right?
Yeah.
That'd be really
Yes,
pretty,
yeah.
like an ombre almost.
Yes.
Too.
I love mixing them.
So these are the two new colors, guys. If you guys want any of them, go ahead and just message me below, or you can reach out to Cindy. They're $25, and remember that goes to our radio station.
Yay.
But that's it for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yes, thank you for listening to Red Lip Latina Radio. Have a safe and blessed night.
That's a wrap for today on Red Lip Latina Radio. We tackled the issues, we lifted up our community, and we kept it bold, real, and unapologetic. But the conversation doesn't stop here. We stay loud, stay proud, and stay engaged. Follow us, join the movement, and let's keep making noise for San Antonio, Texas, and the whole USA. Until next time, you keep your head high, your lipstick bold, and your voice even bolder. Nos vemos, familia.